my body starts to sweat, and the face is red, and I'm puffing and buffing, stuff like that. It's just like, but when it's cold, it's like I'm like, wow, I'm flourishing with cold weather. I feel great, energize everything. But when the weather is like this, I don't want to do anything. I mean, because it's just the way my body is.
Yes. Namaste, Tony Pradhan.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
This is Nalini Didi and Shama Gauri Didi, sister and mother of Jadu Gopal Prabhu.
Oh. Hare Krishna.
We cannot hear you. You are muted.
They are
muted.
They are at the.
You can hear me now?
What is that? San Paulo?
No. San Paulo.
Huh? San Paulo, Brazil, huh? You're at the temple?
Muted.
Your sound,
No sound.
sound is not coming. Oh, there he is.
Tony, କେମିତି ଅଛ? ଭଲ ଅଛ?
ଭଲ.
Tony?
Yes, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jadu Gopal is hidden in the background.
I saw him.
No
there
sound.
He is.
Jadu Gopal, no sound.
Sound is not coming from there, yes.
He's connecting from another system.
I see.
He's technically very sound person.
The symbols of Sana, we can't hear you either. Yeah, we can't hear you. Your sound is muted. Sana, your sound is muted.
I
can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Just, now we hear.
I think that now maybe you can hear us.
Yes.
Now?
Yes, problems in the computer.
Okay. Better.
Maharaj.
Dandavad. Now, Dandavad. Maharaj, Dandavad Depot.
Dandavad.
How about now? Do you hear me?
That's good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Sana. Dr. Sana.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, yes. Can you hear us? Yes, you can hear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I hear everybody.
All right.
Today we had a very long Sangha, Maharaj.
You had a very long Sangha. How many hours?
Yeah. 7 to 9:30, 2.5 hours or more.
Oh my goodness. You had a lot to talk about.
So one scientist joined today from Spain. Hariananda Prabhu invited him.
Oh, I see.
So we discussed with him about Barbara McClintock's, some this work. And his name is Dr. Irina. He's coming to New York in a few days' time. So I told him to meet you.
What is his name?
Dr. Irina.
Irineu.
Yeah. He is Spaniard? He is Spaniard?
Yes,
or?
also.
Yes.
Yes, from Catalonia.
Okay. What kind? You said he was biochemist?
Yes, cellular biologist, molecular
biologist.
Maharaj,
Yes.
algumas semanas a gente está querendo sempre participar.
It's already a few weeks that we try to get in the meeting, but
Quando termina o nosso uma hora para terminar o almoço da comida para
and
dar e
usually,
voltar.
and we finish the sangha, we have to hurry a little bit to make the prasadam and to offer to the deities.
We run.
Oh,
Mas hoje nós falamos, não,
Today we make another schedule and it work.
hoje nós já adiantamos a prachada muito
Ah.
cedo para conseguir
So we
dar
make the
conta.
prasadam earlier to come here.
yes.
Mas muito felizes de conseguir.
We are very happy to be here.
Sim,
Oh,
ouvir você,
Hare
To
Krishna.
hear you.
to hear you.
You are making a revolution in Brazil. Huh?
Yeah, estamos fazendo uma revolução no Brasil.
Killing the president.
It's difficult to be honest. You would think honesty would be a very natural thing, but we're a devotee.
Honestidade deveria ser uma coisa natural, mas tá muito difícil achar pessoas honestas.
Sim, eu podia contar uma coisa. Eu podia
You
contar
know
uma
the
história daqui.
the cow, Dharma cow. He has now only standing on only one leg. You know that? You heard of the cow, the Dharma cow?
No. I never heard about it.
Oh, the Maharaj, you know?
Yes,
About
Maharaj.
huh? Cow? It
Yes.
has 4 legs, huh?
Yes.
And then 3 are not there anymore. What is that?
Yes.
Austerity? There's no more austerity. That's not very popular these days. And cleanliness, even cleanliness in the more ancient times, cleanliness was very important. They would take baths at least 3 times a day to maintain cleanliness. And everything was also kept very, very clean. In fact, I remember once Srila Prabhupada, our Swami Maharaj, Bhakti Prabhupada, he told some devotees that if they follow strict principles of cleanliness, they will automatically experience bhava, symptoms of ecstasy. Bhava means symptoms of ecstasy, just by being super clean. Keeping the altar, the temple, and themselves and their clothes, everything, keep it very clean, the kitchen especially, just by following that one principle of cleanliness.
Yes.
Purification. Anyhow, so that's not so prominent today. People don't follow those principles. Just like, they go out and they come in and they keep their shoes on. When they don't take their shoes off when they come in. The devotees don't do that, huh? They take their shoes off before walking into the house or the temple, definitely. Anyhow, those things were lost. And then what is the other one? Austerity and meat eating, was it? Shantamaju? Huh? Worship.
Kindness, austerity, cleanliness, truthfulness.
Kindness. All right. Well, anyhow, that's lost. People kill all kinds of creatures to eat. But truthfulness was left.
Can I say?
1 minute. Truthfulness was the only one that's left in Kali Yuga. The cow has the truthfulness leg. And truthfulness is necessary because if there's no truth, then there's no justice, there's no government, there's no nothing. It's all chaos, anarchy. So without truthfulness, a society cannot exist. There cannot be any society. So truthfulness is very important. And since our last president, you can say, from our last president, that became pretty much shaken. That also became almost destroyed. So, and that's happening all over. This truthfulness is being attacked from all sides. You can say like that. Each yuga, we lose one leg. Anyhow, Dharma has this one leg, truthfulness, that is very weak right now. So to stand up for the truth, if we don't do that, then the whole thing is finished. If we don't protect truth, everything, what kind of society could it be with that? You talk to somebody, you don't know what they're saying is true or not. Or government officials or whoever. So that must not be tampered with. That, and then there's chaos. Civilization is finished, and that's Kali Yuga. They want to attack even at that level. So anyhow, Zana, what did you want to say?
When you were saying about cleanliness and not taking off shoes, I think it's in the Western culture, because in the Eastern cultures and the cultures that are closer to the East, they there's still a habit of taking off shoes when you walk into somebody's house. Like friends who come from the former Soviet Union who live here, we still do the same thing. Once you walk in, you take off shoes, and it doesn't matter what kind of weather. You take off boots, and then people have um, in the houses separate set of slippers. And some people, when I go to my friends, I actually carry my own spare slippers to visit. So we still do that, and and we are not Indians, right? So and a lot of nationalities who are back east there, let's say who Slavic, that way, not even Slavic, away from the east, West Germany, that way. I don't know about the Polish people, but that part, we all take off shoes.
Okay. Yes, that is
So
from
it
the
is still with us. That it is still with us. That part of Vedas
that
tradition.
part of cleanliness. Yes. So anyhow, the cleanliness that was respected so highly, and the uh, more original civilizations than ours, that was a main part of one of their main parts of their life. They have that saying, cleanliness is next to godliness. So that was one of the legs. Anyhow, that is not followed in this country, at least. Most people don't follow that. In Europe, I don't know how many countries actually observe.
They don't even know
They don't
about
know
that.
about it
They're
even.
like weird. No, they don't know, because like I have some American friends who they just like walk on the street or through all kind of dirt, and then they walk in, and they even like bother. Oh, I will lay down on your couch with his
With their
sneakers
shoes
on
on.
my couch. I'm like, what?
Uh,
Yeah.
yes, and like that, I know
Said,
some people don't take baths for a week before they think they have to bathe. Or something. I don't know how many. Maybe they don't bathe unless it's absolutely necessary. Anyhow, like that, the cleanliness is not followed as scrupulously as it is supposed to be followed, especially in the Shastra and the Scripture.
It's nice meditation.
Huh?
Yeah.
Tomorrow's Chamarjan. Good meditation.
So, Kundi Chamarjan, tomorrow Krishna Kesava said, this is the cleansing of the temple. So it's a good topic for today.
Yes.
I mean, it's not. Anyhow, what happened to Tony? All right. So 4 legs of Dharma, huh? You know now? This is described in the
Yes.
Bhagavatam, right? It's described in the Bhagavatam. And only truthfulness is left.
Maharaj, I would like to ask some questions for you about our relatives from Brazil in this moment. Because I don't speak English. I only know some words and I try to integrate these words in my mind. Then I will try to talk.
Can you speak a little close to the mic? The sound is coming low.
It goes like this, the sound.
Yes, one moment. Let me bring here near to her. Then I think. So,
Nós somos devotos há 20 anos.
we received initiation some 20 years ago, Maharaja. And
E quando nós recebemos a iniciação de Srila Govinda Maharaja,
when we received initiation from Srila Gurudeva, Srila Govinda Maharaj,
e nós procuramos estudar e conhecer um pouco através dos shastras,
we try to study and learn a little bit from the Shastra.
eu fiquei completamente apaixonada por isso.
Since that moment, I got in love with all of it.
Para mim era impossível tanta beleza e tanta doçura e tanto conhecimento.
I could not believe that it was possible so much sweetness, knowledge, and truth.
De uma forma muito ingênua, acredito.
In a very naive way.
Eu acreditava que todas as pessoas que pertenciam à nossa missão.
In a very naive way, I thought that all the people who received initiation and that was in our mission
já tivessem o respeito e a doçura para enxergar a nossa filosofia como caminho sagrado.
Already have the respect and sweetness to see our philosophy. So this beautiful patch that is.
Passando o tempo, eu acabei conhecendo a história mais antiga aqui no Brasil e eu percebendo que Srila Govinda Maharaj tinha vindo aqui. Eu nunca conheci Srila Govinda Maharaj pessoalmente.
And when I learned a little bit about our story of Vaishnavism in Brazil, I heard that Srila Gurudeva went a few times in Brazil, I think 1996, 1998.
Eu nunca vi pessoalmente.
But I never met him that time.
Mas eu sempre me identifiquei com meu guru e ele está dentro do meu coração.
But I always identified Srila Gurudeva and have him in my heart.
Mas eu fiquei sabendo que quando Gurudeva veio aqui ao Brasil, houve uma coisa que, ao meu modo de ver, me chocou muito. Eu soube há muitos anos atrás e imaginei que isso pudesse trazer más consequências para o Brasil.
And when I heard that when Srila Gurudeva came to Brazil, there was a lot of problems that happened at that time because some light that we both told to Srila Gurudeva. That's a really bad karma that we have here in Brazil.
Quando Gurudeva chegou, se pagou algumas pessoas para ficar presente, cantar, para mostrar que havia muitos devotos.
To show that there was many devotees in Brazil and people who like Vaishnavism. Some of our leaders here paid to people that wasn't Vaishnava, like a coke and something like that, to watch Srila Gurudeva.
Colocaram as deidades numa casa alugada,
dizendo
que era uma casa comprada para a missão.
Then rent a house and install some deities there. And when Srila Gurudeva asked them, they told that that was their house.
Que Gurudeva ficou pensando que a missão aqui fosse uma forte missão.
Then in that first time that Gurudeva went here, he thought that the mission here was really strong at that moment.
Mas na verdade eles quiseram impressionar Gurudeva.
But they are at that time trying to impress Srila Gurudeva.
Aquilo me tocou muito naquele momento.
In that moment, I was very shocked by all of this.
Porque eu não conseguia imaginar que com um conhecimento tão elevado que isso não era verdade. É o que o Maharaja está falando sobre a verdade. Não era verdade.
I was very shocked about that because I could not believe that this pillar, strong pillar that we need to have, that it wasn't being broken.
Eu imagino que isso não trouxesse boas consequências para a missão no Brasil.
And I always thought that will not bring good reactions to our mission in Brazil.
Porque foi uma mentira.
Because that was based on lies.
Então, a partir desse momento, nós acabamos nos afastando um pouco e estamos vivendo a nossa vida de uma forma a respeitar todos, mas de alguma forma sempre com o sentimento de que se não for diante da simplicidade, as coisas aqui no Brasil não vão andar.
And since that and some other steps happened, Maharaj, we prefer to keep ourselves a little bit isolated some way from the external world, making our service, taking care of the date here, that land owned by the deities here, and keeping everything simple and truthful.
E nós tivemos a misericórdia de que a Acharya Deva vindo.
Some years ago, we got some mercy that Acharya Maharaj went here.
E quando ele veio aqui, conheceu esse espaço que nós compramos para dar a sua filha Maharaja, na nossa missão, e ele instalou aqui um pequeno templo e pediu que nós tomássemos conta.
And when he went here, 2010, Acharya Maharaj said that he would like here to be perpetually temple here and asked us to take care of this.
E essa misericórdia tem sido assim, o néctar que nos dá alegria e força para continuar, por mais difícil que seja, porque nós estamos muito cortados, as pessoas se afastaram do caminho. A partir de alguma forma eles nos isolaram, eles não aceitaram.
Since Acharya Maharaj came here and established here, some devotees were not happy with that because some political situation.
Sim, e
Acharya Maharaj asked us to install Radha Krishna Mahaprabhu here.
E nosso trabalho continuou mesmo desde o começo.
And we kept making our service.
Nós oferecemos respeito a todos.
Giving respect to everybody.
Independente de qualquer coisa.
Everybody, doesn't matter what.
Mas acabaram nos afastando e nós vivemos aqui em um grupo de 6, 8 devotos. Estamos tentando fazer
And now we live here. We are in a group of 8 devotees, 6 to 8 devotees at that time, and we are making our service.
Fomos algumas vezes à Índia,
we went to India a few times, and we have the mercy to stay there sometimes to make service there. Is that when we met Shanta Maharaj? I think it was 2014. And it was a great happiness.
Porque desde a primeira vez que
Because when we first saw Shanta Maharaj, we saw so much sweetness from him.
Então nós criamos esse link muito mais com a Índia do que com o Brasil.
So we created the link with more strongly with India more than the West.
Yes. Unfortunately, your sound is not so clear and it's hard to understand, but I got the general gist, general idea what you said. Maybe it's our connection. We don't have a big bandwidth and may not help. And I know something about Brazil. I heard a few things, and it's very nice to see that you have maintained your standard, the standard of Guru Maharaj all this time. Did you ever meet Prabhupada? Did you meet Prabhupada?
Prabhupada uma vez?
Não, pessoalmente, mas eu cheguei aí a ISKCON aqui no Brasil algumas
She said, I never met him personally, but I went in ISKCON much times when I was younger in Brazil.
Quando eu tinha 15 anos.
When I was 15 years old. I went to ISKCON's temple.
Eu ia, sim, mas eu nunca.
Who started the temple there?
E quem iniciou o templo aqui no Brasil? In Brazil, you ask Maharaj.
And where you are now, who started that temple?
Quem começou o templo aqui? Srila Govinda Maharaj, ordered by contact.
Através de contato de
Yes, by contact of Bhuvan Moham, Srila Gurudeva told us to create a temple.
Okay.
O nome daqui é Sri Chaitanya Sridhar Govinda Asan.
Okay.
Fala mais alto.
Tá.
Very nice. Well, my obeisance to you. You have done very nicely and maintaining the standard, good standard.
Nas viagens que você pode traduzir, nas viagens que nós fizemos à Índia, nós achamos muito importante trazer as literaturas, os shastras, E nós temos, assim, nos apoiado nas escrituras, porque nós não tivemos mais contato muito com ninguém aqui no Brasil. Acharya Deva, assim, sempre que nós pudemos, ele nos dava.
And the time that we went to India, she said, I thought that was very important to bring the scriptures, copy of the scriptures here to Brazil, because it's very difficult to get them here. And we have been isolated. So we have been in the refuge of the scriptures, and also Acharya Maharaj get in contact with him much times.
Okay. Now, they are all translated into, you speak Portuguese, right? In Brazil?
We speak Portuguese, exactly.
Yes. But so the scriptures have been translated?
Yes, we translated some scriptures, but not all yet, because so many things, you know.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Well, that's good, I see.
Yes.
Okay, well, you can read English also, right?
Yes, we usually translate them before the meetings and everything like that, so that everybody can read in Portuguese.
Okay. Very nice.
In that way, we are trying to make our service.
Yes, Maharaj?
Maharaj, I'm asking if we can move to Zoom, the Saturday programs, because I think everybody can use Zoom.
Oh, okay. Okay, yes. We can do that now.
Yes,
So very nice. Thank you very much for telling me the story there. It's good that you are a little separated. Sometimes the mask becomes a little difficult to follow. And I always liked small. I like two things. One, I like being with Sridhar Maharaj in Navadvip when I was staying there. And it's such a wonderful atmosphere there. The most amazing thing I can remember very clearly is the mood of the devotees. They would serve so heartily with all their hearts they were serving. So much that it made me feel awkward, but a good awkward. A good uncomfortable feeling was there because I felt how I can serve them. They are so much serving me and everyone. Such a serving attitude they had. And I thought how I can possibly live in this environment because I felt so bad that I could not serve them in the same way they were serving me. And I felt the pain sometimes. But it was beautiful. It was definitely, certainly beautiful. And I thought when I came back from there, I tried to find that atmosphere other places, but not so much did I feel that. And so I thought, let me start something on my own and try to keep that atmosphere with those around me. Anyhow, that is the ideal. The ideal. To keep a very pure serving attitude, pure serving heart. And the other thing is, to be a pure devotee, they must have that serving attitude. But I also realize that to recognize those pure devotees, you must also have a very pure heart. You must also be able to have a very pure heart in order to recognize such a devotee. Most people don't recognize. Even a man may be a very elevated devotee, they won't recognize. Some people used to come to see Prabhupada when he was here. I remember that also. We travel around wherever Prabhupada would go, we try to go to that place also to be with him. And I noticed that many people used to come and see him and hear him and so forth. But then they would go away. They would not come back. Even sometimes they would criticize Prabhupada. You know? And I realized that not everyone can see him as we were seeing him. Such an exalted, inspiring personality. But not everyone can see that. And even in the time of Jesus Christ, such a wonderful, amazing personality. Govinda Maharaj used to always praise Jesus, how humble he was. But not everyone can see that. What they did to him, see how they treated him, how they considered him. Even someone so great as that, they could not recognize. So one must keep themselves pure, and then the possibility is there when we meet a good devotee, a genuine devotee, we may recognize him also, and he will recognize us or she. So a very important quality. Keep your purity, body, mind, spirit.
Tried to put captions in Portuguese. I don't know if it's working for them.
I don't know.
If you ask them.
Jadu Gopal,
Yes, Maharaj.
you can enable caption with Portuguese. It will come up. I think you try it.
And how can I do that? Actually, is a good question.
CC, you can see there is a CC at the bottom, a box.
Yes, yes.
You click
Oh,
that,
very.
it works.
Oh, that's. It's automatic.
Yes, it should be automatic.
Whoa.
All right. Can they do? Can they do that with Zoom also?
Yeah,
Yes.
Mm.
Have you used that? Any
I
other
have
tool?
not used, but there is option there.
Okay.
Já saiu traduzido?
Yeah.
Uau!
Yes.
Oma Devi, Haribol, Dandavats. I did.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Maharaj.
I didn't want to interrupt our conversation before. but
Sorry, Maharaj, I'm late.
I saw you come in. Who's that in the phone
Dandavad.
with the phone? You? Oh, okay. All right. So Tony did left, huh? And our other friend did come. Okay. Maharaj, did you have your meeting the other day?
Yes.
Okay.
Meeting Maharaj, which one? Oh yes, that one. Oh,
You
oh,
have
so
so many.
that meeting. Yes,
You have
Maharaj.
so
Yeah.
many, I know.
Yes, we
Everything
had
okay?
that.
It
Yes,
went
Maharaj.
okay?
That meeting. Okay, it is confidential.
Okay. So any special topics before we have a kirtan? Would anyone have any special topics to discuss? Okay. You are talking all the time. I think you got all your topics finished, right?
Vocês conversam muito, então tem todos os tópicos. Fale.
Não, eu gostaria de
Maharaj, something I will translate.
sobre o movimento de Sankirtan.
Can you talk a little bit about the Sankirtana movement, Maharaj?
The Sankirtan movement.
Yeah.
This was initiated in the Western world, at least, I think, by Srila Prabhupada. He came as a single old man. What was it, 1966, around that time. Came alone, and his health was not so good. On the way over, he had 2 heart attacks. So when he came here, amazingly, he still was able to go on very strongly. And I remember when he first came, I think it was in Boston Harbor. His ship landed there, and he had some contact set up. I don't remember her name, but she was still around after Prabhupada started his movement. And I remember the thing that she noted most about her. She was a regular person. She used to eat meat and all those things. Wasn't a devotee. But she was a nice lady, and Prabhupada went there and stayed there with her. And I remember he told us, he asked can I have a little room in your refrigerator where I can keep my stuff? He told her, I don't eat meat and all that, but if you can just give me a little place in your refrigerator, I can keep my food and then you can keep yours, and like that. And she was very accommodating as far as that. And then when they asked her, what was it like to have Prabhupada living in your house? And she said one thing. She said he was very kind. This was her summary of Prabhupada's stay at her house. He was very kind. She remembered that. That was Prabhupada. He was staying at her house, but still he appreciated so much her kindness. And she wasn't even his disciple or anything. A regular karmi, whatever you want to call it. But she must have been a very blessed person to be able to have Prabhupada stay with her. Anyhow, after he was there, he went to New York and he stayed with his friend. Was a kind of a yoga teacher or something. And Professor, or what was it, Mishra? I don't remember exactly his name now. And he was there, and another incident while he was there in New York in the beginning days was that he sat next on the bench next to a poor man. There was at that time, there were many poor people in New York City also, homeless people and whatnot. And he sat next to one man, and he was scantily dressed in the middle of the winter. He only had some plastic shoes, his dhoti and so forth, some light coat. And that man asked him, oh, you don't look very, that you are dressed properly for this type of weather. And so many things like that. And he thought he was also very poor. And then Prabhupada told him, he says, oh no, I have temples all over the world, and many followers, thousands of followers. And he's looking at him. He says, why you're not telling me the truth? You are just such a feeble old person here. We're not very well dressed even. And Prabhupada was talking like that. Mhm. And that was the beginning. That was the beginning of the Sankirtan movement. He had that idea. Same thing we heard about Sridhar Maharaj. He was living in a hut, a mud hut, thatched hut. Well, basically. And when he began the mud, Sri Chaitanya Saraswati mud, and he wrote that poem that about how the flag of the mud will be flown all over the world, and the teachings of Mahaprabhu will extend from there. When there was nothing. So this is how it begins in each case, with that idea in their heart, that great conception, that great view of what is there to come. So of course, Bhakti Vinod Thakur originally had that idea that everyone throughout the West even would become Krishna conscious and engage in the Sankirtan movement. So it begins in the hearts and the hearts of the devotees. And Mahaprabhu somehow or other fulfills his plan. That was Mahaprabhu's plan. He wanted to spread Krishna consciousness to everyone, love of God. That was his desire to come to this world for that purpose. Of course, he had other purposes too, but that was also his external purpose. So from there, Prabhupada began to preach in a small little shop. No, and he said, I don't have any devotees around me, so I had to make them. I had to make some devotees so I could have some association. And like that, he began, and the devotees came. And that park in New York where he used to go and chant, Thompson Square Park. He went there, and just with his kartals, sitting under a tree, he began chanting Hare Krishna. and all the hippies and all the, the people walking by and everything used to come and look at this peculiar person and his singing. And somehow they started dancing uh, around him. And gradually they came to his lectures at that. He had one small building called Matchless Gifts, where the devotees would come and he would give his Bhagavad Gita lectures. And like that, somehow he convinced a handful of young men and women to come and hear him, learn about Krishna consciousness, and then go out when they were chanting in the park, and they would dance with Prabhupada and encourage everyone else to dance. And that's how the Sankirtan movement started, in this country at least. Gradually, Prabhupada went to different uh, cities in America, and he did with either directly with him or his devotees, his disciples. They went to these different cities and started to spread the Krishna consciousness movement everywhere. And not only this country, they went to other countries and so forth. And today we can see the result of all of that. Everyone is chanting. The Mahaprabhu told that the Sankirtan is the yagya, Sankirtan yagya, is the main sacrifice for making spiritual progress in the Kali Yuga. Now, specifically, Sankirtan, that san in front of kirtan, is a very important part because it means in connection with san, in connection with someone else, but not anyone else. Today, many people engage in kirtan, even sankirtan, but they don't have any pure devotee for that connection. San. And Sridhara Maharaj always, I remember he told us in the mud, he said the person leading the kirtan is very important to have a very pure soul leading the kirtan, because that is the connection with Krishna. Not only sitting with another person, but sitting with a devotee. That is where our connection is coming from, because the connection is up to down. It comes up from the up down to us. That is the name. He would always, Sri Rama would remind us that chanting Hare Krishna without the concept, without the genuine concept, he said, that's like firing empty bullets. Oh, what are they called? Blanks.
Shooting blanks.
Shooting blanks. If you put a blank in the gun and shoot it, it won't do anything. The bullet won't go out. You have to have some powder in the bullet, and then the little pellet in the front will go out and do some damage. Anyhow, like that, the name must have that powder, that power within it, that spiritual, transcendental power. Then it will make some change. Then it will make some change in our heart. So that's Sankirtan. Not only chanting together, but chanting together with the association of those devotees who know how to spread that transcendental sound to others, who are connected with that transcendental plane. They can present or give or spread that sound, that Divya Gyan, transcendental knowledge, transcendental sound. When we have that type of kirtan in relationship with such souls, then we can get the benefit and the purification, and the love. The main thing about chanting is the love, Krishna Prem. That we can get in that kind of Sankirtan. So how much that is actually happening today, I think we can see the results that are everywhere. The name is spreading. Krishna consciousness is spreading to others to some degree. We have to examine all the time. And what is the quality of that name? What is the quality of things? Not that the quantity is the only thing that we measure. The quality also. We have to examine what is the quality of what they are presenting. That requires a little bit more thoughtfulness. We may see that people are chanting everywhere, chanting Hare Krishna, joining the temples and so forth. But then when we look carefully at the quality, then we have to decide if this is something that is substantial or just, what do you call it, emotional or devotional. Govinda Maharaj used to talk about that sometime. Is it emotional or devotional? Sometimes emotion takes over, and then that's not so nice. When in 1980, around that time, after Prabhupada had died, had left this world, about a couple of years after that, I came to know about Sridhar Maharaj, and I went there, and we had to make some kind of we were forced to make some type of decision because GBC would not accept Sridhar Maharaj. Prabhupada told he was the Shiksha Guru, but the GBC would not accept that. So then I had to make some decision. And I went to the GBC. I told them, I'm going to take sannyas from Sridhar Maharaj because he's Prabhupada's Shiksha Guru. And they said, if you do that, then you're out of ISKCON. And I felt at that time, the whole ISKCON did not accept Sridhar Maharaj. They were not being allowed, and they were not being shown that we should have any connection to him. And I would realize that all that devotees in that society were going in a different direction than I saw to go. And I could see that Sridhar Maharaj had preserved the teachings of Srila Prabhupada in a very deep and substantial way, and I learned so much more what Prabhupada was teaching and understood it in a more deeper way when it came to Sridhar Maharaj. And I felt it was very unfortunate that the devotees weren't being directed in that proper conception. All those devotees of ISKCON, they weren't being given the proper instruction, the proper direction. How much they could have benefited by hearing and imbibing the words and the teachings of Sridhar Maharaj. So it's possible. And we see the possibility of a whole society of devotees being misdirected by a few in the upper echelons of the movement. And that was my experience and my understanding. I don't know. Don't want to criticize. ISKCON is doing such a wonderful preaching work, and they're expanding all over. To some degree, they are teaching properly. But we know there's a different understanding also. Sometimes we can make that distinction. Maharaj is teaching Radha Dasya, and ISKCON is teaching Krishna consciousness. So you may say, well, what's the difference? Well, those who have heard the instructions of Sridhar Maharaj, they know the difference, big difference. Those who worship the predominating moiety and those who worship the predominated moiety. Difference. But they're both absolute. They're both the absolute, the predominated and the predominating. But there's a little difference. Anyhow, I remember Govinda Maharaj once made a comment. He said, I don't see any difference between ISKCON and Chaitanya Saraswati. They may wear a little cleaner dhotis than we do, but I don't like that. But they are not. He said they are the same thing. Anyhow, that's the position of the sweeter vision. Sweeter vision that Govinda Maharaj is very famous for. Such a sweet personality, such a loving person. So hopefully that will go on. Devotees will not give up their Krishna consciousness, whatever degree they have of it, and whatever understanding they have of it, and go on and improving their spiritual lives and the spiritual understanding, no matter what comes. That's all we wish for. And as far as our little group is concerned, myself and Santa Maharaj and Muni Maharaj, Krishna Kesava Prabhu, and a handful of persons we have with us, we also see some progress being made among the scientific community. Prabhupada didn't want to neglect them. Scientific community, he thought they were very important, and he gave much emphasis to our preaching. He said, I have done my work in collecting all these people from the ordinary positions of life. He said, but now you have the special job of convincing the scientific leaders of the society. You can make them Krishna conscious, and then our work will be complete. Something like that. So we were working on that, although we're not very popular among the main class of devotees. Never been. We've never been, even in this kind. But still, we know the importance placed upon it, and our people attempt very hard, actually, to convince these people. But we have made some feeble attempt, and Shanta Maharaj especially, he made a grand attempt there in India to convince the scientists. So we're very happy with him, the scientific Sankirtan. I remember once Govinda Maharaj made a comment. He said that he was sure, he felt convinced that the scientific community would also become theists. He said mainly they're atheists now. He said, but in the future, he was convinced they would become theists also. They made a comment like that. So he had much hope for the world. So please continue Sankirtan. That is our Yuga, Dharma. That's what that will become. Be able to make progress in spiritual life. What's that, Sana?
I want to make a comment. I'm listening to a lot of lectures in Russian on different topics.
Okay.
And in several lectures, the scientists, whoever was doing the presentation, right? They actually said that a lot of scientists, the majority of the scientists are actually theists.
Okay.
So it's only the minority of the scientists are atheists or agnostic, but the majority believe in God.
Maybe. I think maybe that many of them are hidden theists. You know what I mean? Hidden theists. Many, if you ask them, are you theist? They'll say, no, I'm atheist. But in their heart, I think they're actually theists. Because to say you're a theist in the scientific community, they think, oh, you're not a real scientist. Because you believe in miracles. But no, so they may say, oh, yes, I'm a materialist, all these things. But really, they're thinking that there is some God behind things. Because anyone who studies the material nature seriously, they will realize how many miraculous things are going on at that level even that cannot be explained. And if you give them some encouragement, they will admit that, yes, you are right. In private. May not do it in public. And some now are doing it in public also. And I've seen a big change since when we started in 1970, 76, when we started the Institute, I've seen a big change since then in how the scientific community now accepts consciousness. You would think it's such a obvious thing that there is consciousness, but the scientists would not allow any talk about that in scientific circles because it didn't involve molecules and electrons. But now they're talking about it. And several things happened in the development of science over the years since 1975 that have forced them to look at the influence of consciousness when doing science, when studying science. That's another story, a long story. Anyhow, that's my idea, my summary of the Sankirtan.
She's saying wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you for.
A estrutura.
It's the structure.
A estrutura. Porque é o conhecimento
Because
da essência.
Because what you're saying is the knowledge of the essence.
Sim. Aqui no Brasil nós temos muitas religiões que eu até brinco que as pessoas estão sempre querendo só
We have
prazer.
here in Brazil very native religions that I usually say like a joke that is like God business for pleasure.
Eu digo que parece que todo mundo sempre busca um Deus Papai
I say
Noel.
that's like they want a Christmas God.
Christmas God. God, like, como que é o Papai Noel?
Acho que é Christmas, né?
Não,
Santa, like Santa God.
Santa God, yes. Eu peço um presente e quero alguma coisa em troca.
I ask someone, so I want something in exchange.
Consciência é uma coisa para muito poucos.
Consciousness is something that very few people want.
Eu gostaria de estar colaborando com
I
o
would like
Instituto
to help with the Institute, to help
melhorar o COVID,
when the COVID is better,
criar algum projeto
to
para
create
que no
some
Brasil,
projects,
em algumas
so
faculdades,
then here in
poder estar
Brazil,
fazendo esse tipo
we
de
can make this
divulgação.
kind of preaching in some universities.
Sim, eu gostaria de estar divulgando.
I would like
porque
to make this in
é
Brazil
muito importante.
because it's very important.
Alguns brasileiros, o senhor deve conhecer,
Some Brazilians that you may know
têm abertura para
have
novos
some
conhecimentos.
openness to this
E
kind
isso é
of
uma coisa
knowledge.
boa, eles não são ateus.
And it's very nice because here we do not have so much atheists.
Não são, e seria importante também
And
a gente
it would be
trabalhar
good
essa
so we can
consciência.
work this consciousness of Krishna in this university environment.
Sim,
Okay.
gostaria de estar
I
me
would
colocando,
put myself and put ourselves
para a gente poder
at
estar
our
fazendo
disposal
aqui
if
no
we can
Brasil.
help in something and make this kind of service also in Brazil.
Sim, importante.
It's important.
Yes, you should invite Shanta Maharaj and Muni Maharaj to come, and they can make a conference there. All those people, you can help them do that. That'll be very nice. I hear a lot of scientific work is coming from Brazil, and on these topics. So if you like to have some type of conference there, you can invite them, and they can help you talk to the different scientists and scholars. I think that would be very nice. I'm always encouraging them to get out of India and go preach to the other countries. So that'd be good. Yes.
Covid, que aqui nós temos estamos esperando passar o COVID.
We are just waiting a little bit to COVID.
Oh yes, you can't do it now. I know. Too dangerous.
Almost not lockdown, but almost.
Let's see. Let's see if everyone takes the vaccination, then it might be possible.
Sim.
Yes.
Aí voltamos a poder fazer planos.
Then we can make this kind of programs and realize these programs.
Sim.
Okay, anything else? There was a geologist who contacted me from Brazil, and he wanted to talk with me for the last 1.5 years, but I don't know this Portuguese, so I could not communicate with him. So maybe now Jadu Gopal is there, so I will ask him so we can communicate properly with him.
Very good.
Of course, Maharaj, I can translate. Of course.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me see. Then Santa Maharaj,
Yes,
would
Maharaj.
you like to have a kirtan? Lead the kirtan.
Okay, Maharaj.
Thank you very much.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Sri
Sri Krishna
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
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 Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare.
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare, Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Rama,
Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare
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 Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jai Jai.
Govinda
Govinda
Jaya
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 Jaya,
Gopala
Gopala
Jaya
Jaya Jaya,
Ramana
Radharana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya.
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jai Jai.
Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala
Jaya
Jaya Jaya,
Ramana
Radharana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya.
Nitai Gorango, Nitai Gorango, Nitai Gorango Jaya, Nitai Gorango.
Nitai Goranga, Nitai Goranga, Nitai Goranga, Jaya Jaya, Nitai Goranga.
Oh, Nitai, 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 Nitai Gorango.
Oh, Nitai, 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 Goranga.
Jaya Satchinandana, Jaya Satchinandana, Jaya Satchinandana, Gaura Hari.
Oh, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Gaura Hari.
Kali Yuga Pavana Gaura Hari, Patita Pavana Gaura Hari.
Hari
Bhavana
Pavana, Gaura
Murahari
Hari, Patita Pavana, Gaura Hari.
Gora, 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 Gora Hari.
Gaura
Gora, 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 Gora,
Gaura
Gora, Gora, Hari.
Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva.
Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo.
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo,
Hari
Hari Bo, Hari Bo.
Gaur Premanande Hari.
Hari Bol.
Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Acharya Dev ki Jai.
Jai,
Jai Giri Govardhan ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Go Premanandi Hari Hari Hari.
Hari Hari Bol. Jai Om
Jai.
Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivraj Jagad Guru Srila Bhakti Madhava Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai Shri Bhakti
Samadhi,
Pransa Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai
Gaura Bhatta Vrinda ki
Jai Samadhi Bhaktivinoda ki Jai.
Jai
Jai.
Okay. Shamananda, is that your name? Shamananda, huh? Is that her name? Shamananda?
No,
Her name, Maharaj?
Shama Gauri, Shama
Shama
Gauri.
Gauri.
Radharani's
Oh,
son.
Shamabudi. Oh,
Shama Gauri, Gauri.
Gauri.
Shama
Shamagori. Okay.
She say, I don't want to finish this call. She say, I want to stay here.
Gauri. And then Nalin, what is the other?
Nalini.
Huh? Nalini.
Nalini.
Nalini did it.
Nalini.
Nalini and Shamagora. Okay.
Yes.
And Jadugopal, I know.
Yes, Maharaj.
All right. And you know Uma Didi? You know Uma Didi here? This is
No, it's pleasure, Didi. Dandavat.
Danda Danda.
Dandavat, it's pleasure.
faithful devotee of Shanta Maharaj. And in the middle is there is Zana, Bhakta Zana. She's from Princeton. She
Yes.
helps us very much in Princeton. She's a wonderful lady. and we appreciate her services so much.
Ela é uma pessoa que foi
Very
muito
intelligent. She's from Russia originally.
Ela
So,
originalmente tá.
Ela?
Ela.
Nice.
Dandavadi, it's a pleasure.
and you know Krishna Kesava, huh? Krishna Kesava, this fellow over here.
Yes, Dandavadi Prabhu. Famous Prabhu.
He is helping me greatly. Without his help, I wouldn't be here.
Se
Ele
não
me
fosse por
much
ele,
help.
eu não estaria aqui, ele tem me ajudado muito.
Sim.
Yes, very nice. Very nice service, Prabhu. Thank you for the service.
Sim. Thank you for the service. Então, semana que vem a gente se vê, né? Não tenho vontade de ir embora quando a gente tá com os devotos, né?
Oh,
Fale pra ele. Não tenho vontade de ir embora.
do you all have the Kirtan guide? Pocket Kirtan guide.
Vocês todos têm um.
Sim, né?
Pocket Kirtan guide.
Sabe qual é?
Oh, he's going to put it on the screen?
Eu acho que vai colocar na.
You want to share it? He can share it with you all.
Vai compartilhar com a gente.
Download it. You're going to give the link.
Vou mostrar pra ele aqui.
Do you see the link?
Yes.
Dizendo. A vida do devoto é isso. Compartilhar com o devoto.
Jana can translate from English to Russian if you do some program with Russian.
Yeah. I'm
Oh,
perfect.
good. Oh, good.
Translator.
Jatu Gopal was telling to have some program with Russians. So
Yes.
Well, they do have in Russia Krishna aid. Yeah. Even when I lived there, there were some.
So we can invite Jana. She can help in translating from English to Russian.
Yes, it will be very nice. Very nice.
And I've been to Brazil, to Rio once.
You've been
very
there.
nice.
Yeah,
Ela já
I've
veio
been
pro
to
Brasil?
Rio.
Fala
Pro Rio de
quando vier.
Janeiro.
Rio
Fala
and
pra ela quando
yeah.
vier, já tem lugar pra vir.
Yes. Shri Magori saying.
I was there in 2004 or 5
2005,
for 10 days, and I met there a boy. He was probably like 18 years old. We met in the internet cafe, and he noticed that I was typing in Russian, and he asked me.
Ele falou, nossa,
Yes,
por que você estava
in
escrevendo?
English. Oh, in Russian. Yeah, I'm sorry you speak in Russian. And he spoke a little bit English, and he studied Russian also.
Oh, very
So,
nice.
And like since we met, and he was just like so happy that he met me, and so like, oh, you know, like I'm so happy because now I can practice my Russian. So
Yeah.
every evening we would we would like walk outside, and I was there with a man friend who speaks Italian.
Yeah.
So he had no idea what we were talking about because we
Yeah.
spoke Russian.
You know, in Brazil we have much different cultures. One example, Shimagori is asking to translate that her mother is part Russian, part from Lithuania.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
know
very-
that there are a lot of people. It's like during after the revolution, a lot
Yeah.
of people immigrated to Brazil, to South America.
Yes, exactly.
So they come from that background.
Yes, we have a very interesting place in Brazil to make preaching all of this because we have a small world here. We have Italians, we have Spanish, Portuguese, Russians from Africa, India, everybody from everywhere.
I love that there.
E fala pra
I
nós, quem quiser
mean,
vir por
like,
Brasil,
yeah,
temos a casa.
the
Chamagori.
tourist is different than from living there, but like overall, I really liked it there.
Diferente morar, mas do tempo que eu fiquei aí eu gostei bastante.
Sim, e quando ela quiser
Yes.
vir.
Shamagori saying, when you come to Brazil, please tell us, then we stay here with us.
Gurudev, não.
Okay, everyone have the book now?
Então todos já baixaram o livro? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. On the page 38, page number on the book is
Yeah.
page 38. It's called Vandana. See that? Vandana? We're going to
Yes.
read. We're going to read that together. Okay, those prayers.
Vamos ler juntos.
So Vandeham
Vande
Guru Sri Yuddha Parakam
Kamalam
Sri Gurun
Gurun
Vaishnava
Vaishnavamscha
Sri Rupa
Sri Rupam
Sagrajat
Sagrajatam
Sagana
Saganadalita
Raghunatham Tam Sajiva
Savam
Sadvaitam
Advaitam
Sadhutam
Savaduta
Parijana
Parijana
Saitam Krishna
Saitam Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Devam
Chaitanya
Devam
Sri
Sri
Radha
Radha
Krishna
Krishna
Padam
Padam
Sagana
Sagana
Lalita
Lalita
Sri Shakanvitam
Vishakam
Om
Ajnanatirandasya
Anjana
Anjana Salakaya
Chakshurunmilitam
Chakshurmilitam Dena
Tasmai
Tasmai
Shri Gurave
Shri
Namaha
Gurave Namaha
Puja Shri Guru
Dasi
Varga
Guru Varga
Vandita
Vandita
Mahabhava Vanditaya
Mahavanitaya
Sada
Sada
Purva Parya
Purvarya
Parampara
Parampara
Prachalita
Prachalita
Pragya
Pragya
Pramukta
Pramukta
Kite
Kitehe
Bhaktir
Bhakti
Nirmala
Nirmala
Nirjarasya
Nirjarasya
Nibritam
Nibritam
Samrakshakam
Samrakshakam
Sadaram
Sadaram
Vande Shri
Vande
Guru
Shri
Deva
Devanath
Nanta
Sira
Shira Acharya
Acharya Vajam
Param
Nijam
Purva Vista
Bhavishta
Supragam
Supratam
Guruganaya
Gurugane Asisa
Bhusitam
Sambhusitam
Chintya
Chinta
Chinta
Chintya
Samasta
Samasta
Veda
Veda
Nipuna
Nipuna
Shri Rupa
Shirupa Panthanugam
Govinda
Govinda
Vidam
Vidam Ujjalam
Bharatanam
Bharatanam
Bhaktyamritam
Bhaktanvitam
Sundaram
Sundaram
Vande
Vande
Vishwagarum
Vishwagurum
Sa
Sa
Divya
Divya
Bhagavat
Bhagavat
Premno Hi
Premno Hi
Bija
Bija
Pradam Devam
Devam
Divyatanam
Divyatanam
Chandavaranam
Chandavadanam Balarka Chiranantam
Balarkachirashika Sandrananda
Sandrananandapuram
Varanam
Sadeva Varnam
Vairagya
Vairagya Vidyam Buddhim
Shri
Sri
Siddhanta
Siddhanta Nidhim
Nivesitam
Suvakilasitam Sarasatatam
Saranam
Varam
Vande Tam
Vandekam
Shridham
Subhadam
Madhika
Madhika Saranam
Nyashishwaram
Nyasiswaram
Sridhara
Sridharam
Shri
Sri
Siddhanta
Siddhanta
Saraswati
Saraswati
Siddhanta
Vidita
Saraswati
Pito
Vidya
Gaudiya
Gaudiya
Gauranga
Gurvanmai
Patro Manavipa
Madhajiva Prabhata
Gadade
Gadane Gaura
Yodhura
Sankirtane
Sankirtanai
Mayavana
Mayavana
Tatimangaladhara
Tatimangaladhara
Pradhana Drita Jivahiman
Vidyataniman
Krishna
Krishna
Prema
Prema
Sudhabdi
Sudhati
Gahan
Gana
Sutam
Sukam
Prabha
Bharat
Prabhum
Prabhum
Tam
Tam
Bhaje
Bhajet
Bhaje
Namo
Namo
Gaur
Gaura
Kisaraya
Kisaraya Bhakta
Bhakta
Bhuta
Murtaye
Murtaye
Gaurandri
Gaurandhi Padma Bhingaya
Padmabhingaya
Radha Bhava
Radhavani
Nisirine
Semane Vande
Vande
Bhakti
Bhakti
Vinodam
Vinodam Gaura
Gaura
Sakti Sarupakam
Bhakti
Bhakti Sasagya
Sasagya
Samradham Radharasa Sudhadini
Radharasani Gora Pradasha Sheshaya
Pradasishasai
Vaishnavaya
Vaishnave Bande Vigraham
Jagannatha Prabhu
Prabhum
Bhakti
Bande
Premabhupeta
Premadi
Vaishnavam
Vidavaishnavam
Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha
Kalpatarubhyascha
Kripa
Kripa
Sindhu
Sindhu
Evacha
Evata
Patitanam Bhavanebhyo
Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Namo
Namo
Namaha
Namaha
Vanchatatvat Patam
Satam
Krishnam
Nam
Bhaktarupa Sarupakam
Bhaktarupakum
Bhaktavataram
Param
Bhaktakyam
Bhaktakyam
Namami Bhakta
Shakta Saktikam
Namo Mahavaranaaya
Nadaranayo
Krishna Prema Pradayate
Bhakti
Krishnaya Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Namne Guru Tritse
Te
Namaha
Namaha
Jayatam Surato Mando
Surato
Mama Manda Matergati
Tirgati
Matsarva
Masarvasya Padam Bhujau Radha
Mono
Madan
Divya Drunda
Vrinda Brahma Kalpa
Purvada
Durvado
Shrimad Ratnagara
Kalpatacara
Siddhastasya
Singhatanasto
Shri
Sri
Gandharva
Gandharva
Shri
Sila Govinda
Devo
Devo Krishna
Vaisali
Devi
Yaman
Savyamano Smarami
Shriman Rasa Rasamrati
Sarati
Vamsivada
Vansi
Gataka Sita
Sarasita
Karsanve
Krishna Samer Gopi
Gopinatha
Gopinatha
Shriyasna
Sriyasuna
Vrindayaye
Jai
Tulasi
Tulasi
Devaya
Devyai
Jai
Jai
Keshavaya
Kesavasya
Krishna
Krishna
Bhakti
Bhakti Padi Devi
Satyavachai
Satyavate Namo Namaha
Gatanatva Mantra Guru
Mantra Guru
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 Bhagavata
Bhagavata Padam
Yasanjaga
Guru
Karanaka
Natva
Dojaya Mudire
Jaya Mudiraye
Jai
Jai
Sabarika
Saparika Sri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundar Pada Padmanam Jayastu
Shri Krishna
Shri Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya Prabhu
Prabhu
Nityananda
Shri
Shri
Advaita
Advaita
Gadadhara
Gadadhar Sivasadi
Shivasadi Gaur
Gaur
Bhakta
Bhakta Vrinda
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare Krishna
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 Krishna Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Hare
Rama Hare Rama
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 Hare
Hare Hare
Jai Srila Prabhupada Srila Guru Maharaj Srila Gurudev Srila Charideva Ki Jai
Jai
Giri Govardhana Ki Jai
Jai
Om Premanandi Hari Hari Hari
Hari Hari Jai Srila Bhakti Madhava Maharaj Ki Jai
Dinishkam Santa Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Bhaktazana Jai Shama Gaura Jai
Gauri
Nalindi Gauri Jai Nalindi
Nalini
Nalini and Jai Gopal Charu Gopal Prabhu Jai Uma Devi and Jai Krishna Kesava Prabhu Puri
Jai
Devendra Jai.
Jai
All right, then. Hare Krishna.
Until next Saturday.
No,
No,
we're
we are still continuing. We have something more
oh, you
left.
have some other?
Coisas não vamos acabar agora?
I have to go.
Achei que você ia ir embora.
We always offer Jai anytime, not only at
Deve
the
ser
end.
a todos os tempos.
Que bom,
Todos os tempos.
que bom, que bom.
Then,
I'm so happy to say, né? Very good.
Hare Krishna. Then, let's see. Now,
Eu achei que tínhamos acabado.
who would like to sing Yasomati Nandan? Page
Gostaria de
16.
cantar.
I have page 16.
É o que nós cantamos todos.
Hare Krishna Dana.
Yes, Oma Devi, are you going to sing for us?
Você
Yes,
cantaria pra gente,
Maharaj.
Maria?
All right. Page 16, huh?
Yeah.
Yasomati Nandana Rajavara Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana
Yasomati Nandana Brajabhara Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana
Yasomati Nandana Rajavara Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana
Yasomati Nandana Brajabhara Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana
Gopi Paranadana Madana Manohara Kaliya Damana Vidana
Gopi Paranadana Madana Manohara Kaliya Damana Vidana
Amala Harinam Amiya Vilasa
Amala Hare Nam Amiya Vilasa
Amala Harinam Amiya Vilasa
Amala Hare Nam Amiya
Amiya
Vilasa
Vilasa
Vipina Purandara Navana Nagaravara Vamshivadana Suvasa
Vipina Purandhara Navinana Garavara Vansi Badana Suvasa
Rajajana Palana Asurakula Nasana Nanda Godana Rakuyala
Rajajana Palana
Surkula
Sirkulanasana
Nasana Nanda
Nanda Budhana Rakhala
ಗೋವಿಂದ ಮಾಧವ ನವನೀತ ತಸ್ಕರ ಸುಂದರ ನಂದ ಗೋಪಾಲ
Govinda Madhava Nandita Taskara Sundarananda Gopala
ಯಮುನಾ ತಟಚರ ಗೋಪಿ ವಸನಹರ ರಸ ರಸಿಕ ಕೃಪಮಾಯ
Yamuna Tatachara Gopi Vasanara Rasarasika Kripamoya
ಶ್ರೀರದ ವಲ್ಲಭ ವೃಂದವನ ನಟವರ ಭಕುತಿ ವಿನೋದ ಹಾಸ್ಯ
Sri Radha Vallabha Vrindavana Natavara Bhakti Vinoda Atraya
ಯಶೋಮತಿ ನಂದನ ರಜವರ ನಾಗರ ಬಕುಲ ರಂಜನ ಕಾನ
Yashamati Nandana Vrajabara Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana
ಗೋಪಿ ಪರಣದನ ಮದನ ಮನೋಹರ ಕಾಳಿಯ ದಮನ ವಿಧಾನ
Gopi Paranadhana Madana Manohara Kaliya Damana Vidhana
ಹರೇ ಕೃಷ್ಣ 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 ಹರೇ 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 ರಾಮ 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 ಹರೇ ಹರೇ
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
ಹರೇ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಹರೇ 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 ರಾಮ ರಾಮ ಹರೇ ಹರೇ
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram
Ram Ram Hare Hare
ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಹರೇ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಹರೇ ಹರೇ
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
ಹರೇ ರಾಮ 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 ಹರೇ ಹರೇ
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
ಹರೇ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಹರೇ ಹರೇ
Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
ಹರೇ ರಾಮ ರಾಮ ಹರೇ ಹರೇ
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
ಹರೇ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಹರೇ ಹರೇ
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
ರಾಮ ಹರೇ ಹರೇ
Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಹರೇ 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 ರಾಮ ರಾಮ ಹರೇ ಹರೇ
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಹರೇ 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 ರಾಮ ರಾಮ ಹರೇ ಹರೇ
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
ಜಯ ಗುರುದೇವ ಗುರುದೇವ ಜಯ ಗುರುದೇವ
Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva
Jaya
Jaya
Gurudeva
Gurudeva
Jaya Gurudeva
ಗುರುದೇವ ಜಯ ಗುರುದೇವ ಜಯ ಗುರುದೇವ
Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva.
Jaya Gurudeva.
Haribo, Devi Ki Jai.
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 Very nice.
Very
And Zana,
Yeah.
Zana, would you like to read the English?
Yes, 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 yes.
Thank you.
Sri Krishna, who is known as God, is Yashoda's darling son, Raja's paramour, Gokula's delight, the gopi's light and wealth, the enchanter of Cupid, and the conqueror of Kaliya. His names and nectarian pastimes are all transcendental. He is the king of Raja's forests and the best of the young paramours. He beautifully plays the flute. He is the guardian of Raja's residence, the destroyer of the demons, and the keeper of the Nanda's cows. He is known as Govinda, he who nourishes the cows, senses, Vedas, and world, and Madhava, Sri Radha's consort. He is Nanda's beautiful cowherd boy and the Bhadaki. He is the spy of the Yamuna's banks and the stealer of the Gopis' garments. He is the relisher of the Rasa Lila and the embodiment of mercy. He is Sri Radha's beloved, Vrindavan's great dancer, and the Bhaktivinod's shelter.
Oh, thank you. And who would like to sing another bhajan? Any favorites?
Alguém gostaria de cantar alguma outra?
Divijago, Divijago.
Steve Jago. Do you know the page?
Você sabe qual é a página? I think that's...
Should be there in the beginning somewhere.
Yeah.
32.
Page 32.
32.
Deixa eu sua mãe. Não, there.
Yeah, aqui.
Divijago, Gorachanda Bote.
Jeev jago, jeev jago, Gora Chandra bole.
Karta Nidra Jayo Maya Pizza Chirakole.
Kota nidra jao maya, picha sira kole.
Vajibo bolia ese Sansara bitare.
Vajiva boliya aise, samsara bhitare.
Bulia hohile tumi avidya rabare.
Buliya rohile tumi, avidyar bhore.
Tomare loite ami hoinu avatara.
Tumhare loite ami, hoinu avataro.
Ami vina bando ara que ache tomara.
Ami bina bando haro, ke ache tomaro.
Enechio sadimaya nasi borolaji.
Enechi osodamaya nasi baralaji.
Harinama mahamantra lautumi maji.
Harinama mahamantra lahotumi maji.
Vakati vinoda prabhu charane padiya.
Bhakti vinoda prabhu charane padiya.
Hey Harinama mantra loilo majiya.
Say Harinama mantra loila magiya.
Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Dev, Jaya Guru Dev.
Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva.
Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva.
Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva.
Itagora Haribo, 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 Nitagora Haribo.
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Haribol, 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 Haribol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Haribol.
Jai Haribo.
Haribol, Gora Premanande, Haribol.
All right, next. Who would like to say it?
Yad Gopal.
Gotta go. Bye.
Seems that I have to choose.
Qual que você gosta?
I don't know.
Can we see you?
Maybe, yeah, I'm here. I'm just finding the page. Actually, see Srila Gurudev Jai Jai Gurudev Arutijwala.
Which one?
Jai 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 Govinda Maharaj Kirtan Maharaj. Jai Jai Gurudev Arti Ujjwal.
What page?
8.
8.
Yeah. Jaya Jaya Gurudeve Arati Ujjwala.
Jaya Jaya Gurudeva Arati Ujjwala.
Govardhana Pada Pite Bhuvana Mangala.
Govardhana Pada Pithe Bhuvana Mangala.
Shri Bhakti Sundara Deva Prabhu Siromani.
Sri Bhakti Sundara Deva Prabhu Shiromani.
Goswami Govinda Jaya Ananda Rakhani.
Goswami Govinda Jaya Ananda Rakhani.
Ajanulambita Bhuja Divya Kalevara.
Ajanulambita Bhuja Divya Kalevara.
Ananta Pratibha Bara Divya Gunadhara.
Ananta Pratibha Bhara Divya Gunadhara.
Gora Krishna Janitava Abhinaswarupa.
Gaura Krishna Janitava Abhinna Swarupa.
Samsara Taritebe Shuddha Bhaktarupa. Upanugadara Tumi Paralokita.
Rupanugadhara Tumi Paralokita.
Prabhakara Samaprabha Bhuvana Vidita.
Prabhakara Sama
Bhuvana Vidita.
Shuddha Bhakti Pracharite Toma Samanai.
Sudha Bhakti Pracharite Toma Samanai.
Akala na doyala nitai.
Akalanka Hindu Jana Dayalo Nitai.
Lashita Vishwavashi Labe Premadana
Ayulasita Vishwavasi Labhe Premodhana.
Anande Nachiya Gahe Tava Gunagana
Anande Nachiya Gaye Tava Gunagano.
Kapila Shrama Bahu Jagatamajare
Stapila Shrama Bahu Jagato Madhare.
Paramam Sadharma Gyana Sikshara Prachare
Paramhansa Dharma Jnana Sikshara Prachare.
Chincha Chincha Beda Gyane Tumi Adhikari
Chinta Chintya Vedo Jani Tumi Adhikare.
Sakala Samsaya Chetva Susidanta Dhari
Aisaka Samsayo Deva Vedudhari.
Tomara Mahima Gahe Goloka Mandale
Tumara Mahima Gahe Goloko Mandale.
Sida Parikare Tavalli Lashtale
Nitya Siddha
Siddha Pari Kare Avalila Stale.
Patita Pavana Tumido Yora Samira
Patita Pavana Doyara
Dayara Savira.
Sarvakare Suni Punya Sattva Shugambira
Sarvakarya
Sarvakar
Suni Puna Satya Sugambira.
Apurva Lekha Nidhara Pragadha Panditya
Apurva Lekani Dari
Nidhara
Pragata
Pragada
Panditya
Panditya.
Sadahasya Mishta Basi Sushila Kavihitva
Sada
Sada
Hasya
Hashamista
Mishtavasi Susila Kavita.
Sadhu Sange Sada Nandi Sara Lavinai
Sadhu Sangha
Ange Sadanandi Sarala Vinai.
Sabha Madhye Vakta Shreshtra Sarvatra Vijai
Saba
Sabha
Madhe
Madhya
Bhakta Srishta Sarvatra Vijay.
Gaudiya Gagane Tumi Acharya Bashkara
Gaudiya Gagane Tumi Acharya Bhaskara.
Nirantara Shiva Priya Mishta Kantashwara
Niran
Nirantara Seva Priya Mishta Kantha Swara.
Tomara Karuna Mage Trikala Vilase
Tomara
Tomara Karuna
Karuna
Mage Trikala Vilase.
Gandharvika Giridhari Seva Mantra Ase
E Gandharvika Giridhari Seva Mantro Ase.
Kripakare Ohe Prabhu Shigora Prakasha
कृपा करो हे प्रभु शीघ्र प्रकाश।
Arati Koroya Sada E Adhamadasa
ओ आरती करो हे सदा हे अधम दास।
Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva
जय
Jaya
गुरुदेव
Deva
जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव।
Guru Dev Guru Dev Guru Dev Jaya Jaya Guru Dev
Jaya
जय
Jaya Guru
गुरुदेव गुरुदेव
Dev
गुरुदेव गुरुदेव।
Jaya Jaya Guru Dev Guru Dev Guru Dev
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Gurudev.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Gaur Premanande, Hari
Hari Bol.
Haribo, Haribo. Okay. Good singer. And any others from that? Malini? Okay, yes. You're a good singing group.
Hariharai, Hariharai.
Hariharaya.
Yeah.
That's on page 165.
165.
Maharaj,
Yes?
Nalini sai cinco anos de idade,
Okay.
quando ela tem
Since her 5 years old.
5 years old, she likes chant Hari Hari.
Okay. Good. I like that one too.
Like a child.
Okay.
Oh,
Page 165.
165. Yeah. I'm coming. Yeah. Yeah, we arrived. Yes.
Hariharaya Namah Krishna Jadavaya Namah.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah.
Gopala Govindaram Srimadhusudana.
Gopal Govindaram Sri Madhusudana.
Giridhari Gopinata Namadana Mohana.
Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohana.
Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra.
Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra.
Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Gadadara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Rupa Sanatana Bhaktara Gunata.
Jaya Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunatha.
Sri Jiva Gopala Bhakta Dasara Gunata.
Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunatha.
Echai Gosani Kari Charana Vandana.
Echai Gosai Kori Charana Bandana.
Yaha Hoite Vignana Shabista Purana.
Jaha Hite Vignana Savishta Purana.
Echaya Gosani Yara Muitara Dasa.
Echai Gosai Jar Bhuita Radasa.
Tasabara Padarenu Mora Panchagrasa.
Tasavara Padarenu Mor Panchagrasa.
Tandera Charana Sebi Bhakta Sanebasa.
Tande Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanivasa.
Janame Mora Eya Bilasa.
Janame Janame Mor Iya Bhilaso.
Echai Gosani Yabe Braje Koila Basa.
Echai Gosai Jabe Braj Koi Labaso.
Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Karila Prakasa.
Jai Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakaso.
Anande Bolo Hari Braja Vrindavana.
Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavana.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majaya Mana.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Pajai Amana.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pada Padma Koriyasa.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyaso.
Nama Sankirtana Kohe Narottama Dasa.
Nam Sankirtana Kahe Narottama Daso.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Ora Pramanande.
Hari Bol. Hi, oh, Premanandi. Very nice. You have your own kirtan party there, and just your little family.
Você tem pequeno
Nice.
grupo de kirtan.
Nice.
We chant
Yeah.
we chanted three times
The three
a day,
aratis,
né?
yeah.
3 aratis every day.
Hi. Beautiful. All right, now, Krishna Kesha, which Ajahn you want to say?
How is the cat, Jana? She's happy? She's not hearing you. You're muted. You're muted. You're muted.
Page 30?
You
Page.
saw that she was not happy. I had to give her some petting and food. Now she is eating.
Okay.
Que a gatinha não estava feliz, estava reclamando dela, deu uma comida e carinho, agora tá quietinha.
Page 30?
Yeah,
Que página?
30.
Okay.
Será que a gente sabe cantar?
O de lá, né?
Page 30. Are you want me to turn this off?
Udila Aruna Purava Bhagi Vijamani Gora Amani Jage
Udila Purava Bhagi Vijamani Gora Amani Jage
Bhakata Samuha Laye Sate Gela Nagara Vraje
Bhakat Samaya Sate Gela Nagar Braje
Tatai Bhajalakho Gana Gana Tahe Janjeraro
Tathoi Bajil Phol Ghana Ghana Tahe Jhanjero Rol
Prema Dala Dala Sonara Anga Charanenu Purubaje
Prime Dhala Dhala Sunar Anga Charane Nu Purabaje
Mukunda Madhava Yadava Hari Balena Balare Vadana Bari
मुकुंद माधव जादव हरि बलन बल रे बलन भारी
Miche nidavase gilare rati divasa sarira saje.
मिछानी दाब से गलो रे राती दिवस शरीर साजे
Hemana durlabha manava deha paya ki kara bhavana keha.
हेमान दुर्लभ मानव देहो पाइया की करो भावना के हो
Ebena bhajile yashora suta charame padi belaje.
एवे न भजिले जसोदा सूत चरमे पड़ी बेलाजे
Urita tapana haile asta dina gila bale hai bevyasta.
उदित तापन होइले आस्त लिंगलो बलि होइले व्यास्त
Tabe kena ebe Allah se hoy na baja hridaya raje.
तबे केन एबे आलस्य हये नव हृदय राजे
Jivana anitya janahasa tahe nana vidha viparabar.
जीवन नित्य जन सार ताहे नाना विध विपद भार
Namashraya kariyatane tumi tahaka apana kaji.
नमाश्रय करी जतन तुमी थाको आपन काजे
Krishna nam shura karyapan jurao bakati vinora pran.
श्री कृष्ण नाम सुधा करिया पान जुड़ाओ भक्ति विनोद प्राण
Nama vina kichu nahika arachara bhuvana maje.
नाम बिना किछु नहीं को आरो 14 भुवन माजे
Jivera kalyana sadhanakam jagate ase madhuranam.
जीवेर कल्याण साधन काम जगते आसिए मधुर नाम
Avidya timir tapana rupe hrid gagane viraje.
अविद्यत गगने विराजे
Jai Gurudev.
जय
Jai Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai.
जय
All right. Shanta Maharaj. Would you like to
Yes,
chat?
Okay, Maharaj, sir. On Vaishnav, one song 62, Maharaj.
Which 62?
Aqui. Mas cabe sim.
Thakura Vaishnava Pada.
You got it, Maharaj?
Which one?
Thakura Vaishnava Pada.
Huh?
ठाकुर वैष्णव पद ठाकुर वैष्णव पद अवनीर सुसंपद सुन भाई होया एक मन
Thakura Vaishnava Pada.
आश्रय लइया भजे तारे कृष्ण नाही तेजे आर मरे अकारण
आश्रयालय
Bhajre Hare Krishna
Krishna
Hare Bhajre
Hare
Hara Sabhamarana
वैष्णवचरण जल प्रेम भक्ति दीते बल आर के हो नहे बलवंत
वैष्णव चरण जल प्रेम भक्ति जीते हर
Hara
वैष्णव चरण रेणु मस्तके भूषण बीनु आर नहीं भूषणेर अंत
वैष्णव
Vaishnavacharana Renu Mastake Bhushana Vinu Varana Bhushanera Anta
तीर्थ जल पवित्र गुने लिखिया छे पुराणे से सब भक्तिर प्रवंचन
तीर्थ जल
Une Dikiya Purane Se Sabhakira
पवित्र
वैष्णवेर पादोदक समन हे सब जाते है वंचित पुराण
वैष्णवे
Vaishnavera Padoko
नमन
Samana He Saba
यते
Yadehaya Vanchita Gopura
वैष्णव संगीते मन आनंदित अनुखान सदा है कृष्ण पर संग
वैष्णव संगे
Vaishnava Anandityanushana Sada Krishna Parasana
दीननरतम कांदे हिया धैर्य नाही बांधे मोर दशा के न होइल भंग
Tama Kande Iyanahi Vande Moradas Kenan Ahile
दयाल वैष्णव ठाकुर दयाल वैष्णव ठाकुर वैष्णव ठाकुर दयाल वैष्णव ठाकुर
दयाल वैष्णव ठाकुर दयाल
Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Vaya
दयाल वैष्णव ठाकुर दयाल वैष्णव ठाकुर वैष्णव ठाकुर दयाल वैष्णव ठाकुर
Jaya Vaishnava
ठाकुर
Thakur Vaishnava Thakur Vaishnava Thakur Jaya Vaishnava Jai Hri Bol Nartan Das Thakur Ki Jai. Why has my condition changed? Why have I lost the Vaishnavas Association? What a
This
horrible
song,
thing.
Maharaj,
Yes.
this song, the second verse, in the first verse, the second part, that is the basis of Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Math's logo.
Which one?
This song's first verse, second part, आश्रय लइया भजे कृष्ण तारे नाही तेजे आर सब मरे अकारण.
And what is this? The second verse of the? You said it's the. Oh, this is put in the. Huh?
SCS logo. The second part of the first verse is the basis of the logo for SCS.
Oh, the basis.
Saying, oh brother, listen attentively, take shelter of the Vaishnavas and serve. Krishna does not reject one who does so. All others die in vain.
Okay. Very nice. What was that?
I'm missing.
Oh. All right. धन्यवाद प्रभु. धन्यवाद Amiya.
You're muted. You're muted.
Tá falando que tá mutado.
Okay.
Dandavad Maharaj, Dandavad all devotees, Dandavad Maharaj,
Dandavad
Puri,
Pranam Prabhu.
Dandavad
Dandavad
Prabhu.
Maharaj. So wonderful to see you, everybody. How wonderful. Sorry I'm so late. Thank you for allowing me to be in your association this evening. It was wonderful. Dandavad.
Dhanyavad. All right. So you're just in time. We're going to read Prapanna Jivanamrita. Does everyone have that book? Huh?
Hey, it's in the chat.
Oh, the link is in the chat. You have that PDF? Prapanna Jivanamrita. Page 87 on the book, chapter 5, verse 17. Actually, it's verse 16. These are the limbs of surrender, huh?
Sure.
There are 6 limbs of surrender, and Sridhara Maharaj is discussing the Prapanna Jivanamrita is the book about the nectar in the lives of the surrendered souls. So here, this chapter is dedicated to the principle of confidence in the Lord's protection. One of the limbs of the surrender is the confidence in the Lord's protection, and Sridhar Maharaj here is giving some verses that talk about that. So, number 16 on that page. What was that page again?
87 Maharaj.
87. On page 87, there's verse 16, and he says, Vilambasanasya bhaktasya tad rakshana vishrambhavatam. Sorry. Vishrabdhatvam. Yadro. Oh, I think we read this one already. Anyhow, Ya Draupadi Paritrane Ya Gajendrasya Mokshane Mayarte Karuna Morte Satvara Kwa Kata Hare. The devotee who needs immediate protection has full faith that the Lord will come to his aid. O compassion incarnate, now I am in danger, O Lord Hari. Where is that urgency you showed in delivering Draupadi and liberating Gajendra? We discussed this last I remember. The pastime of Draupadi when she was disrobed in the assembly, and also Gajendra when he was attacked by the alligator. By calling for the help of Krishna, he came to deliver them at the last minute. Then text 17. Rakshishyatiti Visvasrasa Prakasha Madhuryam. Asmai Revere Evodian Majatam Aplavanam Plava Eva Tristanam Madhu or Shiva Megaha. Please stop. Nidir Eva Nidananam Tivra Dukha Mayanam Dukha Mayanam. Vishag Eva Kushalam no Datum Ayati Sorahi from Sri Prapanna. The revealed sweetness of confidence in the Lord's protection, like the sun ascending through the darkness, like a boat for the helplessly drowning, like a rain cloud of sweet waters for the parched, like a treasure for the impoverished, like a physician for the deadly afflicted, the Lord Sri Krishna is now coming to bless us with all good fortune. When the devotee is in desperate need, Krishna comes. Krishna appears. He doesn't neglect. Even like it seems he's neglecting, he comes at the last minute sometime. So that's what we aspire for, that type of event in our lives. When I remember what we were talking about Srila Prabhupada when he came to America, he had absolutely nothing, a few rupees in his pocket. He didn't really had a couple of places to stay, but that was it. And he had so many big ideas. Sridhara is told he was so empty. He felt so empty. He emptied himself completely that Krishna had to come. Krishna had to come and help him. So empty. He put himself, an old man, heart problems. He put himself in that position of hopelessness, helplessness, so that Krishna would come. And he did. Krishna comes and helped him spread Krishna consciousness throughout the world. So the negative and the positive, Sridhara would always tell. By making yourself negative, the positive is attracted. No? You know that? Negative will attract positive. Two negatives will repel. Two positives will repel. But if you put negative, positive, then they will attract. So according to the negativity, the positive will also come with that force. That force. And that's what happened. According to that conception, Prabhupada was so negative, so empty, so devoid of any possibility of accomplishing what he wanted to accomplish. The most unlikely person, situation in which to start a worldwide revolution. And yet, it was that very emptiness, very need, total need, that Krishna came. Because he knows who his devotee is, who his genuine devotee is, and he won't let them perish. He won't. That is Krishna's nature. And that is devotee's nature also. So if we could always remember that, and not only for one moment, but always remember that. Krishna, I am nothing without you. Without your help, I can't do anything. And please don't neglect me, don't leave me. I only want to do your work. And I have no other purpose, no other desire. If you want, you can use my body as your instrument. Maharaja mentioned hammer, like a hammer. Hammer can't do anything on its own. So we become like that, a hammer, an instrument. Then the proper person can come. Krishna can come and take that hammer and do something with it. He can make the hammer worth something. But the hammer can't do it on its own. So they become like that instrument in the hand of Krishna, in the hand of Guru, in the hand of the Vaishnava. And then we have some value, some worth. Otherwise, we must simply sit there. And we have to accept that. Simply sitting there also as the Lord's grace. If that's what the Lord wants, fine. We're not disturbed by that either. We can sit, no problem. If you want to use me, use me. If you don't want to use me, that's your will. In both cases, always surrendered. I think we'll stop at this point. I'd like to go on, but now it's getting late, about 3:30. Probably now we've been going 2.5 hours now. Anyone have any questions or comments? My sincere thoughts to everyone. Maharaj.
I was remembering about Maharaj Gundicha Marjan we used to have every year. This is Acharya Maharaj. He used to take so many brooms and pots of water in Gundicha temple, and he used to do some kirtan and cleaning. Very nice. Yeah.
I just recalled one thing. You hear me?
Yes.
Now, can you hear this shaka? When I went to school, we had to carry, along with our old school supplies, a bag with change of shoes. So when you walk into the school building, you immediately will take off the shoes that you used for walking, and you will change it to a clean pair of shoes.
Very good.
So this is like, because they will not let us to walk barefoot like in your own house, absorbing all of it. But and it was it was called obu, like a changing. Well, I explained to you what it was. So we always carried with us, and no one was allowed to wear in school. It's like a temple of knowledge. Yeah, anything dirty from outside. I have never seen anything like that anywhere else.
No. Very unusual.
Yeah.
Maharaj?
Yes.
It was quite amazing that Mahaprabhu was in intense mood of preparing Vrindavan and cleaning Gundicha temple, but he comes and he also cleans the temple of Narsingadev there beside Gundicha temple.
Okay.
That Narsinga temple is established by Lord Brahma before he starts this Puri temple. He wanted to do some Jagya. Jagya Narsinga is there. But Mahaprabhu comes there and cleans the whole temple there also.
You're very fortunate to be there. All right, I offer my humble dandavats to you all. Wish you a good week.
Jai Vishnupad Paramahansa Parikdar Jai Srila Bhakti Madhava Maharaj
Govinda
ki
ki
jai.
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 Govinda ki jai.
Jai.
Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.
Dandavat Maharaj.
Please be
Dandavat.
safe.
Dandavat.
Dandavat.
Dandavat.